You probably already know that I'm a real fan of AGM technology batteries. These are absorbent glass mat batteries. They're not flooded with acid, so there's a number of advantages. In my book, there's 3 key ones. Number 1, you won't find your post corroding. Number 2, you won't find your battery trays corroding as badly. And number 3, these tend to hold a charge longer. You can park your car and leave your headlights on. Come back in a half hour and the car will still start. But there's a downside to these AGM batteries, as I've been using them in all my cars. If you let them deeply discharge, you may not be able to get them to pick up a charge again. This one here, I brought my smart charger out earlier this week and I put it on for like 2 hours trying all the different functions, and sure enough it kept showing bad. You know, it'd show right on the charger. And look at this. If I put my battery tester up on this thing, you'll see that it's saying low, which means there's not even enough charge in the battery for the battery charger to kick in and start charging. So you'll get a lot of failures from your battery charger. So what we have to do is trick this battery, all right? I've got 2 AGM batteries here that have both been deeply discharged. This one here only for a few days, but the other one has been deeply discharged for a few months because the trickle charger got accidentally bumped and came loose and was not charging the battery. So let me show you. We'll see whether or not we're going to have any success at all trying to restore these 2 AGM batteries. First, you're going to need a good battery. And this can be taken out of one of your other cars, but you want to make sure the battery has a good charge and at least over 12.5 volts. And I'm going to just double check this one here because this has been sitting in the shop. Let's see what the voltage is. Okay, it's 12.64. So this is a good battery to use to try this procedure. Next, you're going to need a way to connect this battery to the AGM battery in parallel. Now you notice I already unhooked the battery in the car. You want to make sure you unhook the negative or ground strap first and then unhook the positive. Now you can use a set of jumper cables, but what I have here are a short set of quote unquote jumpers that I use specifically to kick these dead batteries back into shape. So I'm going to hook this up. Now be very careful. See, I'm just going to go ahead and connect the negative here first. I won't connect the positive yet until I hook the AGM battery up. And we're going to go black to negative and red to positive. Then I'll come back down to this second battery and connect the positive side here. And make sure these terminals are tight. Okay, so now you have this battery connected to the AGM battery. And the 12 volts or 12.6 volts from this battery are going to be flowing over into the AGM battery. So now we hook the charger up to this battery. We don't hook the charger up to the AGM battery. We hook the charger up to this battery and the charger will start charging because it thinks it's charging a good battery. And the flow from the charge going into this battery will move up and go into the AGM battery. Okay, let's hook up the charger now. I'm going to hook the charger to the battery before I plug it in. And we're going to go red to positive here. Make sure I get a really good grab on those terminals. Black to negative. Now we're going to plug the charger in. And you can hear the charger come to life. Now let's go through the settings on this charger for the AGM battery. I really like these new generation of smart chargers. They give you a lot of options and it's all automatic. What I'm going to do here now is set this to a medium-sized battery. You've got 2, 10, and 15 amps. So I'm going to set it at 10 amp. And then over here I have standard AGM or gel cell. So I'm going to go ahead and select AGM. Okay, look at that. We got 12.9 volts charging. Let's check the battery, and the battery is showing currently at 48%. But at least it's charging. It's not kicking back and saying bad before I just get a BAD reading right there. So it's now about 20 after 12. We're going to come back in 1 hour, and then I'm going to pull these jumpers off the AGM battery and check the voltage again. And let's see if that AGM battery is going to take a charge. I'm back. It's been 1 hour. It's now charging at 13.4 volts at 10 amps. Let's check the percentage. Okay, it's showing 71%. Now that's probably an average between the two batteries. But that 71% indicates there is some charge in the AGM battery. Let's disconnect it and put the tester up and see if we have enough voltage to hook it up directly. Now this is real important when you're disconnecting this for the test. You don't want any sparks. You want to get everything unplugged and disconnected. I'm going to start by unplugging the charger. And now I'm going to disconnect the charger from the other battery. And I will take my jumper leads and just disconnect the negative. Now I'll disconnect my jumper leads, and it's safe to do this since I've already disconnected the negative down at that second battery. And we'll take my tester and hook this up. It's going to be interesting. Look at that, 11.76 or 75 volts. Now when I get over 11 volts, I'm pretty confident now I can hook up my standard charger and continue to let this charge for a few hours. I'm going to use the other charger that will charge this at 7 amps, and we'll let it set until that charger indicates a full charge on this AGM battery. Maybe we can save this one. Now I've hooked up my CTEK slow charger for the remainder of this attempt to restore the AGM battery. I'm going to set the mode to AGM or gel cell. Notice here it has 4 charge levels, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one over here being a full charge. We're only at number 1, which indicates this battery is still low. Now I'm only going to leave this on an hour, and then I'm going to come back. If it doesn't move off this lowest level of charge, then we may have a problem. Okay, 1 hour's gone by with this AGM battery on this CTEK slow charger, and take a look at that. It's jumped up 1 notch, 1 level of charge. Believe it or not, that's a very good sign. If you leave this on for an hour, 2 hours, and it won't come off that initial indicator there, you probably have a problem with the battery. The other thing is I'm keeping my tester on there kind of showing the voltage. So you can see now it's up to 12.43 volts. So I'm hopeful. And I'm going to unplug the battery charger and actually see if the battery's holding the charge. It's just not the charger that's giving me that good indication. Okay, here we go. All right, look at that. It's only dropped down to 12.15, so it's still above 12 volts. Once again, I'm very hopeful, so I'm going to plug this charger back in, and now I'm going to leave it on the AGM cycle right here, and I'm going to leave it overnight on this charger, and I'll come back tomorrow and give you another report. It's the next day and this battery's been on slow charge for about 14 hours, so let's open the trunk and see if we have any success. Well, look at that. I can hardly believe it, but it did it. Look at that. It came right off that low setting all the way to full charge, and it took well over 8 hours to get there. You know, this is no guarantee this battery is back to 100%, but I'm going to go ahead and unhook the battery charger now, and let's hook up the tester and see what kind of voltage we're pulling out of that AGM battery. The tester is going to tell us the true story of just how well this battery took a charge. So I'm going to hook it up and check voltage first. Look at that, we're at 13.23 volts. Now let's put it through the cycle and see how it's measuring the cold cranking amps. Now I'm looking at this battery, it's 760 cold cranking amps. I'm going to set cold cranking amps and hit enter. It's already set to 760. I can adjust this, up and down. And now I'm going to hit test. Look at that. It's showing a green light, the battery's okay, and the cold cranking indicator is 642. So it's not up to 100%. But we've got the indication here, we've got a pretty good battery. Now, the real test is to leave this battery unhooked for 1 week and see how much self-discharge may occur. That's going to be the real test. Well, you can see I'm very pleased with the results on that AGM battery. You know, when I do these type of videos, I always get questions like, hey, Kent, what's the model of that thing you were using? Or where did you buy that gizmo you showed in your video? Well, I generally don't comment on those things because I don't promote them. I'm not selling them. For instance, these battery chargers and this tester, let's say in 2 years you're watching this video, these models aren't even current, okay? So it's not so much the tester or the charger, it's the process, okay? But I do want to reference these because I know some of you will want that particular charger. I'm not saying these are the best chargers. I'm not even saying this is the best tester. But I will put in the information below this video the model of the Schumacher fast ship and short charger, the solar tester, and the CTEK charger here, just for those of you who might be interested. And the other thing I want you to know is I've already been working on that other battery that is totally discharged for over 3 months. When I discovered last week that the battery tender, or the little trickle charger I had connected to this AGM battery in my W10, had become accidentally unplugged, I go, uh-oh, no, I don't want to ruin a $200 AGM battery. So I put the charger on it and it didn't do a thing, absolutely nothing. And so I just unhooked it so I wouldn't do any more damage. And then today, you know, just putting the tester on, look at that, it's not even showing low. I don't know, when they get drained this low, we may never be able to restore this battery. But I'm going to give it a shot. We're going to pull it out of the car, haul it into the shop, and give it the old treatment and see if we can save it. And I will be shooting a separate video on that because it would make this video too long. So probably in the next week or so, I'll put part 2 up on restoring AMG batteries, and I'll go through the process of what I did and if I was successful, because that's the whole key. You know, what's the final product? Was I able to take that big, expensive AGM battery that had been discharged flat for 3 months and restore it and making a good, usable battery? Not just something I could kind of use now and then, but really restoring it so I could put it in a car. One thing I found, if you have these type of problems with these batteries, whether it be lead acid or AGM, and you go through this restoration cycle, I recommend you put them in a car that you drive every day. Don't leave them in a collector car because they will never be 100% again. Okay, I can absolutely guarantee that because it's created some sulfate on the plates and you're never going to get it like a new battery. So that's my recommendation to you. You do that type of restoration work on a battery, then put it in a car that you drive at least every other day so it's constantly getting charged. You're not letting it sit and discharge again. So if you found this video helpful, you're going to be really surprised when you see part 2.